you guys. I want to welcome you this morning on this Sunday morning for our Sunday conversation, our morning inspiration. I want to welcome you guys. As you check in, where are you watching from? Where are you watching this? Where are you located at? I'm in Jacksonville right now. Where are you? Go ahead and chime in. Hope everybody this morning is had morning, slept well. This morning I have a few words of encouragement that I would like to share with you guys. Again, the whole topic of this message is that there is a purpose. There's a purpose to your pain. There is a purpose to your pain. And if you're a human being living on this earth, I'm sure one way, some happening, some way, somehow, you have experienced pain, you're experiencing pain, or you may experience some pain. And this morning, I just want to give you some encouragement for that as you guys are listening. Thank you again for everybody yesterday. We had a wonderful and awesome day yesterday, kind of just my Father's Day event. It was amazing. Packed the Daily's place for fathers, families, celebration, man. It was amazing. We had the award ceremony. We had Jacksonville Got Talent going there as well. We also had Brick Pro panel with my artist Gilmore, Mark Brunell, Reggie Hayward, Paul Posluszny, my buddy Blair, the new Jaguar, the linebacker, man, DJ Hayden as well. I mean, we had plus some other NFL players in the audience as well. The mayor came. I gave him an award. Gave an award to military men, 4 who have served in the country in our armed forces over the last 25, 30 years. Again, it was a great opportunity, man, for people to get connected. Not to mention the over 50 organizations we had in the stadium where people can get connected. It was amazing. It was amazing to see all those families. It was amazing to see them smile. We did feedback afterwards, man. Some of the testimonies, people was like, listen, it was to have so many people in one place without any drama, all positive vibes, all encouragement. It's possible. It's very possible. And then also the other part we had, the huge part, was we took over that field house and had a section for golf. First Tee was there, had a lot of interaction things for golf. We had football games for kids 5 to 10. We had football games for kids 11 on up. We had jumpy houses. We had inflatables. We had soccer. We had baseball. I mean, you name it. What was that? What was that about yesterday? It was an opportunity to understand the power of your platform. The power of your platform. You know, in life, man, we a lot of people, at least that I've experienced, when I listen to people and I ask them, man, what do you really want to do in life? What do you want to be? And when they tell me what they want to be, sometimes I hear them, and at first it can sound very self-centered, meaning that I want this, I want that, because I just want a better experience that I have now. Now, I get that. I totally know what it's like to be in a situation you're like, how can I get out of this? I just want to breathe again. I just want to have a season of my life where I am not going through the pain, the headache, the pressure of life. I get that. But I always say, and I always encourage that as we think about the next level, the next stage of our life, think about this with these frame glasses on, like put sunglasses on, and look through the sunglasses and say, how will me accomplishing that impact people? Who, when I accomplish that, will this impact? Because I totally believe that it's from that place of selflessness, it's from that place of purpose, you know what I mean, impactful purpose to help other people. That's when you're going to find the resources. That's when you're going to find the people. That's when you're going to find the connection to give you exactly what you need. Now, I got to warn you, it may not happen when you want it to happen. It may not happen at the same way you see it to happen. But my encouragement to you, keep walking, keep moving, keep going in that direction, because everything has a purpose to it. A couple of things I want to share with you guys today. I want to thank you guys for coming on again. Remember to go ahead and share this message if you will. I'm also going to be posting this on YouTube as well, so we can share the link for those that's not on the YouTube page here. But the message today we're going to talk about, there's a purpose to your pain. There's a purpose to your pain. And I'm going to give you a couple concepts, a couple things to think about. So as you're factoring in and you're looking at your situation through the lens that you have, you'll be able to just to bounce it off a couple of things. And then my ultimate hope and goal for you at the end of this session is that you see it in a different light. It may not totally change right now, but the first place it needs to change is right here. So that way now you can do something with this out here. Okay? And so one of the first things I want you to realize is that about pain. If you're going through some type of pain right now, relationship, financial, emotional, physical, social, whatever it is, do me a favor. Acknowledge yourself. Type a 1. Just type a 1 in the comment section, just so I know that I'm talking to the right people this morning. And if you type a 0, hey, good job, because what I'm about to say next is going to factor you. And you may not type a 1 now, but pretty soon you're going to be like, hey, man, Double D. You know what I'm saying? He did tell me I was going to type a 1, and then now I'm typing a 1, because that means everybody hear Murphy's Law. They say if something can go wrong, it will go wrong, which basically means that if you're not either coming out of a situation, you're either in a situation, or you're about to go into a situation. But it's all about knowing how to go through those situations, which allows you to be able to come out on the other side. And so one of the first things I want to talk about, being in the concept being the purpose of your pain, is that in life, okay, one of the most permanent things in life is change. One of the most permanent things in life is change. And that just means that everything in life is constantly changing. Change is permanent. That means everything always changes. Change is something that no one can avoid. That means that everything is always going to change, and no matter how much you want things to go back to what they were, or how much you want things to stay the same, you're like, oh, finally, I can breathe now. Well, guess what? You better breathe deep, because change is coming, in one way or the other. Neither good nor bad. It's all about how you define it, but change is coming. And so understanding about change, understanding that change in life is seasonal. Life is seasonal. And see, we have the natural design of life of the seasons so that we can understand, and as we understand it, we can process and say, okay, it really makes sense to me. And so I can find myself and understand where am I at. For example, in a natural season, of course, we have winter, spring, summer, and fall. Each season in and of itself represents its own self, and it has certain components to it. And having certain components also has some certain things that we need to understand and do within that season if we want to benefit most from that season. There's a purpose to your pain. Life is seasonal. So for example, if you find yourself in the winter season is a season where things seem like they're dried up. Seem like things are frozen up. There's no fruit to what your labor is. It just seems like you was probably pushing, and you don't see anything. No matter where you turn, things seem to be dried up. Things doesn't seem like anything is growing. It seems like you can only now remember times when things were good. It seems like at this moment, no matter it's like 1 foot forward, 2 steps backwards. That's happening in the winter season. Okay? That's what happens in the winter season. But here's what's supposed to happen in the winter season, okay? See, understanding the dried up, understanding the things that's not producing, yeah, that's part of that season, but there's another part. The other part and the very purpose of the winter season is a time where you start to now dream again. That's when you're supposed to, in your winter season, when the fruit of your labor, you don't see it anymore. It's not growing. Things seem dried up. What you're supposed to do, the purpose in that season, is now go back to your paper. Go back to your pen. Go back to your imagination. Go back to your vision. Go start writing the vision again. The purpose of winter season. On the outside, we see dried up. On the outside, we can't really sense, how things are moving forward. But on the inside, we're supposed to now go to the pad and paper. Go to your vision. Start imagining again. Start to create it. Just start to dream that thing again. Sit by yourself. Sit in a place undisturbed. Go to the beach. Go to your lake. Go take a walk. Put on some nice music. Get away from things and just kind of allow things to start downloading to you. Just be present. Get into a state of meditation. When I say meditation, that means this, okay? In that state of meditation, it's not about what you say, what you don't say, how you sit, how you don't, what's playing, what's not playing, what's burning, what's not. It's not that. What meditation is the purpose of you being still and knowing. Being still and knowing that there is a downloading that takes place without your mental health. See, in life, the way that we're designed as spiritual beings living in this physical body, the things that we learn most, the things that we have the biggest impact are not learned through education. It's learned through revelation. It gets revealed to us. Okay? Now, granted, we get to learn some knowledge. We get to understand some things. We get to put ourselves in a situation where we learn some stuff. But most things, impactful things, are not learned just through education alone. It's through revelation. And so that means for us to get it through revelation, sometimes we have to be still. And we have to understand that, you know what, I'm not working in this moment to figure it out. I'm not working there. I am being still. And I'm knowing that my God, I'm knowing that my designer, I'm knowing that my manufacturer said that it's the pleasure of them to give me what I need so that I can function in this earth. So I can function in their very gifts. For example, the phone or whatever you're watching me on right now, okay? That phone and that manual, that tablet, whatever, has a manual to it. And in that manual, it has all the things from the manufacturer that tells you how to best use that phone. It tells you all the things you need to do and things you don't need to do so you can maximize the phone. So you can maximize the operation of it. Why? So the person that has it has the greatest experience with it. Inside of that manual, it also tells you some things to not to do. Like it may say about the phone, hey, don't put it in the heat for too long or it's going to shut down. For some people, what that means is that in their life, when it says don't put it in the heat too long, hey, don't be burning yourself on both ends of the candle of your life. Don't be pushing out over here and pushing out over there and never getting still. It also says that, hey, guess what? In that battery, in that phone, there's a battery life to it. And we're going to give you a number, and we're going to give you a signal, we're going to give you a symbol on it that's going to give you a constant indicator where you're at and how much energy you have left in it. And then when it gets down to a certain percentage, it's saying, hey, plug it up. Plug up the phone. Now see, here's one of the most amazing things when you plug up that phone. Or before you plugged up the phone, you could still use it. But guess what? It was all being poured out, energy. Every app, you know what I'm saying? Every app could have been the kids, you know what I'm saying? Could have been, your action with the kids. You know what I'm saying? Another app could have been thinking on your job. Another app could have been with your health. Another app could have been just trying to figure out what's going on. All these different apps, draining energy. But it says once it gets down to a certain percentage, it says charge it up. Plug it back into the source. You are the resource. Plug it back into the source, the wall outlet, where it can get charged back up. And for us, the way we're made as spiritual beings, we have to get built back up. And so during the wintertime, one of the ways to get built back up is through meditation and just being still. Just understanding at this moment, I'm not trying to figure it out. I'm not trying to think it out. I'm not trying to hum. I'm not trying to do none of that. I am just being still. That phone does not have to jump through hoops to get the power. It just got to be plugged in. To be plugged into God, to be plugged into our source, to be plugged into the one that made us, we don't have to jump through hoops. Sure, you can speak things out. That's fine. But once you figure yourself trying to figure out, what am I supposed to say? Stop right then and there. That's it. That's it. That's the end of it. You're not there. Just plug in and be still. So during the winter season, there's a purpose to your pain. During the winter season, it seems like things are all died up. It seems like energy is all gone because everything you look at, you don't see really grow. But that's the time to plug back in. That's the time to go through and allow the imagination to go. That's the time to search from the vision on the inside. And sometimes when you first start, you're going to be like, man, it's hard. Because again, sometimes 3/4 of the seasons is you pouring out. So you're so used to doing all these things, but you're not used to being still. So my encouragement today for you is be still. Be still. And during that winter season, start to write. So that's the winter season. So now it goes from the winter season to the spring season. Remember, there's a purpose to your pain. Seasonal. Now in the spring season is when you start. Now you have your stuff written down. In the spring season is when you start to now plan it out. Now you start to plan it out. You start to give it details. Remember, the first part of it, the winter season, you're just writing, non-judgmental. You're not looking at it. How is this going to happen? Who are you talking about? Man, you tried it before and you didn't make it. Where are you going to get the money from? You don't know enough people. You don't have enough. You only got so many people in your group, whatever. No, that's not it. Winter season, right. Now, the spring season is when you start to plan it. And when you plan it, you always begin with the end in mind. You never start to plan right exactly where you're at. You're always starting with the end in mind. So basically that means that you're saying, what do I want it to look like at the end? What do I want it to look like, sound like, feel like? And then I start there. Then you do what we call reverse engineer. You start to back up. So if this is where I want to go, I'm planning this out now. I haven't done anything yet. I haven't really done a whole lot of action. You know what I mean? I didn't just, I have a good idea, now let's just go. I didn't do that. I had the idea, wrote it. Now I'm starting to plan it out. And when I start to plan it out, now I got to really think. I got to research. I got to look up things on Google, right? Got to look up things, got to read. I got to talk to people that's been there before. I got to do my homework so I can make a good plan. When's the last time, how would you like if you were going into war, into battle, right? And you just had somebody say, hey man, we going to war. All right. And you had somebody just jump up, all right, let's go. Let's run out there. Wait a minute. Where in the world are we going? Who is the enemy? Where are they at right now? That's how a lot of people do. They get this idea, I want to do this, let's go. Sounds great, let's go. No, plan this thing out. Begin with the end in mind. And as you begin with the end in mind, then you start backing down every single step. Then you get to the beginning. And at the beginning, you're basically at a point where you're saying, okay, what's the first step now? You got all these steps from the end to the beginning. And now what's the direction I'm heading? That's where you start. That's the planning phase. That is the planning phase where the dream comes true, where the dream starts to get more root. That's when you start to plan things out during the spring season. There's a purpose to your pain. Life is seasonal. And so now after the springtime, after you had wrote it all out in the wintertime, you went, you visualized it, you processed, you were still, you wrote, and then you started planning things out. And you started saying, okay, here's the first step, here's the first step, here's the next step, here's the next step, here's the next step. I talked to this person, I researched this, I asked this question, I did all this work. Now comes the summer. You ever notice in the summertime it gets hot? You ever notice in the summertime like the energy needs to be up so you can go through it? Sometimes it takes more energy just to do what you're trying to do because it's hot, because of humidity, because of raining. It rains during 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock during the afternoon almost every day, depending on where you live at. Because during the summertime is the time of heat. Summertime is the heaviest time of action, of output. And so the very sense that sun is there giving out so much energy is like you. Now you're pouring out all this energy. Now what are you doing when you're pouring out this energy? Are you just pouring it out just kind of haphazardly? No. You're pouring it out basically according to the plan that you already wrote. Basically based off of in the direction that you want to go. And so during the summertime, it gets hot. During the summertime is where you're going to face the challenge. We're going to face a lot of the challenges. During the summertime is where you're going to have to persevere. During the summertime is where you're going to have to continue to push. During the summertime is when you're going to have to keep going because now is that season where everything you've done in the previous 2 seasons, which is the winter and the spring, now it's time for action. See, in your life, you may be at a different season in different areas of your life. in your relationship. Right now, you might be in the spring. You're planning it out. You may be not in a relationship, but you're planning it out. And you know what? You already decided you're ready to move on, and you're thinking about, okay, well, what is the next person that I want to be with? What do they look like? Listen, I did that. I shared the story with many people, with everybody about, you know what I'm saying, after I got divorced. And then I was looking for I was looking for companionship, but I didn't know anything about friendship. I knew companionship and I knew relationship, but I didn't really know so much about friendship. And I didn't know the purpose and the power of it. So I found myself, because I love relationship, I found myself jump from companionship, jump on friendship, and come and go into a relationship, which at the end of the day, you can hurt a lot of people and you can get hurt as well because you don't understand the purpose in those aspects of it. And so talking about what I did, even during that time, man, when I got a relationship, I said, you know what? Before I try to look for someone that I think that I can now have a relationship with, I need to have a relationship with myself. I need to understand me. I got to understand, what do I like? What do I don't like? You know what I'm saying? Who is I like, who I don't like, in terms of, you know what I'm saying, my best self of companionship. I said, you know what is the person that I want to be with? What does she look like? Meaning, what does she look like? You know what I mean? Like, because I love beautiful things. I love beautiful people. You know, I just believe that I'm a Leo. So I just believe that, this is my kingdom. And so therefore I'm like, hey, who is it that I want to spend time with? And I went down a list of, okay, what do they look like? You know what I mean? And then what are some of their characteristics? How important is spiritual development? How important is physical, their physical activity? How important are all these things? So what did I do? I was planning this stuff out. Man. My winter season was like, okay, who is it I'm thinking about? I want. And then my spring season was like, okay, plan it out, write it out. And you know what I did? And I went online, right? I'm going to tell you guys, man, I'm straight up, because I'm all about the process. I'm all about strategy. I'm all about action. Listen, sometimes people have best intention, but they tell you wrong. You know what I mean? They just tell you what happened to them. You know what I mean? And what happened to them may not work for you. So here's what I did, okay? All right. So I said, you know what? I need to find out, who in the world am I attracted to? Like, what does that look like? And so what I did is I went online and I looked on this and I Googled it. I said, okay, what does the average woman look like from around the entire world in all different countries? Yeah, and you can actually Google this and you'll probably see the same picture thing that I saw. And what it said is, something came up, it said it gave me 40 composite images of what a female from that country looks like. And I just looked at it was 40 different countries, all right? I had no idea I was going to find it, but I did. And so what I did actually is I went on there and I went through each country and I said, yup, nope, yes, no, no, no. Based off of, at first glance, am I attracted to that person? Like, does that person make me, take another look? And as I went through there, I identified all the ones that I was like, no. What was I doing? I had to get to know me so that I can get to know and deal with we. See, what I realized I was doing before was I felt like, what I was doing before was I was just settling. I was just kind of settling because I never knew me. And I knew what I can bring to a relationship. And if I bring something good to a relationship and somebody else had a bad relationship, then they're like, hey, I want this. But is that really what I wanted? So again, I went through, and then I came down to 5 places, 5 countries, or 5 areas that I really felt that I was most attracted to. And out of those areas, I said, okay, based off of the women from there, I said, if I want to have companionship in my future with any of them, I got to understand culture. So what did I start to do? I noticed that the ones that I was most attracted to, was from like exotic type of countries. So here they were, okay? So it was like Latin America, it was like Colombian, Venezuelan, it was like Israeli, it was there was some Asian, type. It was African, like Ethiopians, and what else? It was like another one. And so basically out of those, I said, all right, the commonality, you know what I mean? So actually, so my first wife, she was Ethiopian. So here's a funny story. So she was Ethiopian. So once I said, yeah, I'm attracted to that, I crossed Ethiopian off because I was like, you know what? alumnus, you destroyed it for the whole country now, so no more Ethiopians. I guess it ain't working out for me in Ethiopia. But no, we all good today. But anyway, so when I looked at it, I said, wait a minute, all right, a lot of them are like kind of Latin American type. That was kind of what I was attracted to. So I said, well, guess what? I don't speak Spanish. But if I want to have relationship or if I want to have companionship, let me start that way, companionship, then I have to be able to I have to learn the culture. So here's what I did, doing homework on yourself, right? That life is seasonal. There's a purpose to your pain. Is I said, all right, well, what did I like to do? Well, I said I had to learn the language. So you know what I did? I downloaded the app so I can learn how to speak Spanish. And I started to learn how to speak Spanish, even while I was doing my camps and even while I was doing my foundation, even while I was working for the NFL, you know what I mean? Like, and all that stuff. So I'm starting to work on Donovan so Donovan can be ready. You know what I'm saying? Donovan can be prepared for the moment that's going to come about him. Donovan can be prepared for the season that he's coming into. I got to do my work on me. And then so I said, all right, well, the language is one thing. So let me work on that. But then I said, hey, I like to dance. And a lot of individuals, the young ladies from, that culture, there's dance in it. Well, I said, I like to dance. So let me go get some dance lessons, right? Let me put myself in the fire so that I can be developed. So I can learn, I can have fun. And that's what I did. I went and got some dance, and I went and took lessons and stuff, bachata, merengue, salsa, all that. And I had so much fun doing it. You know what's fun? What's fun is when you get a chance to know yourself. When you get a chance to take time to sit back and to get to know you and then move forward based off of the understanding that you have about yourself. And so that's what I did. Well, long story short, after about a couple months of that, I just happened to go to the YMCA at night on a Friday night. And as I walked in, I said, I'm going to just get some cardio, whatever. Again, I wasn't in a relationship or anything, so I was like, okay, I'm going to go work out. So I went to work out, and then all of a sudden I heard this music playing. Boom, 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 boom. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what song that was, but I heard this music playing. And it was a Zumba class. And so I was like, okay, well, I have been working on my moves a little bit. And let me go. I like to dance, and it's cardio. So I went, I looked in the room, and I was like, okay, let me see. All right. And then I walked away. I didn't go in. And as I walked away, I heard this voice in the back of my head, Donovan, if you want something different, you got to be willing to do something different. Insanity is keep doing the same thing, trying to get the same results. And then I'd ask myself, wait a minute, why aren't you going in there? Are you worrying about what people are going to say? What people are going to think? Why aren't you? I had to ask myself some questions. And then I had to answer myself to those questions. And see, when I'm asking myself that question, I wasn't asking and saying, hey, why aren't you going in because there may be a girl in there? It wasn't that. It was that, hey, now, before I was getting dance lessons and it was just me, the instructor, and a couple people. That was it. But now you talking about you going to this class where every time I turn around, it's another Zumba class popping up. So that means that they know what they're doing. And so I said, nah, man, let's do this. So I went in the Zumba class, and I found my way all the way in the back, and I was just dancing, and the instructor, and they had songs, and I was like, okay, I'm just doing my little thing. I'm doing my little hula hoop. I'm trying to work it a little bit. I'm just having fun, and I enjoyed it. But little did I know that in that class, when I looked in the front near the instructor, there was this young lady there. She was there with her friend. And I just noticed her while I was there. Again, not thinking about, I'm not coming to the Zumba class thirsty like, who I'm going to check out up in here. No, I ain't doing none of that. I'm just like, listen, I'm trying to get a workout in. I'm trying to go along with the plan. Life is seasonal. Pain has a purpose to it. You know what I'm saying? So let me go ahead up in here. Well, little did I know, at the end of the class, I stepped to her. Her name was Allison. And I was like, hey, when I got outside the classroom, now ladies, I got outside the classroom, and she was standing there looking at the schedule. But she was like one of the best ones, if not the best one in there. What does that mean? That she was waiting, standing outside the classroom, looking at the schedule of the next Zumba class. She was waiting for your boy. So I came out of the class, and I just stepped to her like, hey, you was doing your thing up in there. One thing led to another. I said, listen, y'all go and get anything to eat after this, you and your friends, whatever, maybe, and then I hit her with, hey, would you mind some company? We met up, we talked, and long story short, we never looked back. We got married 1 year later because I knew exactly what I wanted. She had the characteristics, she had the physicality, she had the spiritual development, she had the life journey experiences, she had what I felt in my life I needed. So, I needed for us to work together, and it was a joy for me to be able to build a relationship and friendship and relationship with her. And here we are now. I think it was 4 years now, 4 years married now, going on forever. There's a purpose to your pain. Life is seasonal. I don't know where you're at in your life. I don't know where you're at in your pain, but everything has a purpose. And as you do the work on yourself and you understand that life is seasonal and things continue to go around, you're going to notice that in the wintertime, what did we say? That's a time of going back and visualizing again. That's a time of writing things down. Okay, I need to start. That's a time where I just really use imagination and go down. And then the next thing, the springtime, I start planning it out now. How am I going to accomplish what my deepest desire is? I'm going to begin with the end in mind. But here's the thing: to begin with the end in mind means you're always going to be starting with you. See, if you're not willing to start with you and end with you, that means do the work you got to do within your life. And sometimes it takes time to, for certain things to be developed. Like we want it now, but it takes time. See, if you're single right now, if you're a single young lady right now, and you're saying, man, you know what, hey, all that sounds good, this, that, and the other. Where's that guy? Where's you got any friends, man? Like, hey, where's the guys that's really nice, this, that, and the other? Well, let me say this to you. If you believe that you're that queen, don't you believe that the king should be in the process of being developed for you? Don't you believe that the king should be going under, he should be working on himself to be prepared for the very masterpiece and the very amazing queen that you are? Do you just want a prince in the making because he's not ready yet? Or are you willing to wait, do the work on yourself, and just in your mind, your perspective, understand that, wait a minute, my king is being, he's being processed and development. And because I'm that special, right? Because you're that amazing, in and of yourself, not in comparison to anyone else. It takes a little time. You know what I'm saying? As the manufacturer made you, the manufacturer is making the person, allowing that person to go through all the necessary development that's needed to be ready, to be compatible with who you are. If that's the case, is it not worth the wait? If the thing that you've always been looking for and waiting for is under development right now, is it not worth the wait? Is it not worth the wait? You see, keep working on yourself during this season. Keep believing, keep hoping, keep planning, keep writing, keep doing the research, whatever you got to do. And wait. And wait. Before I met Allison, I was in another relationship, after my wife and before I met Allison. And I was in that relationship not because there was the greatest compatibility, but it was because I felt like because I didn't understand what true friendship was. I went from companionship, wanting to have company in things that I was doing and where I was going or whatever, just share company. I went from companionship and I jumped over friendship, which is all about discovering a person's dreams and goals and then putting forth the time and effort to help that come to pass. And based off of that connection, then now there's a decision for a relationship, which is basically now you're relating to one another based off what you know of one another and where you both said you want to go and how you want to do. Now you're relating to one another to help one another accomplish that in a more intimate way as a one unit. See, and so my relationship in between my ex-wife, Alumnish, and my wife now, Allison, okay, had everything to do with I had to learn what true friendship was. I had to learn about my heart. I had to learn about what I needed and what I didn't need. I had to do the work on me. And you got to do the work on you. And so know this, remember this. Life is seasonal. There is a purpose to your pain. And once you find out that what the season that you are in that area, do the work. Do the work. Be willing to do the work. And so listen, man, I can talk on these things for days. because I love connecting with people. I love letting people understand that what you're going through, man, don't put a period. Your circumstance, don't put a period. Don't put an exclamation point. Put a comma. Put a comma. Boop, a little comma. That means it continues. Life continues. Don't put a period. That's it. Don't put an exclamation point. Oh my good, here we go. Nope, it's a comma. It continues. Life continues. Seasons keep going. I'm going to leave you guys with a passage, a passage from the Bible, which is my manual for my life, my motivational manual. It just gives me my instructions. It lets me know how to get, the best out of who I am and what I'm doing. It shapes my heart. It allows me to use all this that I have, but it's based in a heart that is based on a manual and a guidance and a plan and an idea of what and why I'm here. And of course, who that I am. This one is found in, I'm going to read a couple, and I'm going to allow you to digest them. One is Romans 8:28. It says this. It says, we are assured, and now we know, that all things are working together and are fitting into a plan for good to and for those who love God and are called according to his design and his purpose. It means everything in your life is working together for good. It may not feel good, but it says for good. It's working together for your good. It says for those that that love God. It says for those that love God. And what it means by loving God doesn't mean jumping through hoops, doesn't mean, oh, I love you, I love you, I love you. No. It just means accepting. Loving God means accepting and receiving. And then you're able to produce. You see, the action is not the first thing. The acknowledgement and the being is the first thing. And based off the being, that's what determines what do I do. So when it says everything is worked together for those that love, for and to those that love God, that means you're loving your designer. You're loving the way that you are. You're loving yourself. Loving God has everything to do with loving yourself. You see, if I don't love myself, then I'm not going to take care of myself. If I don't love my physicality, I'm not going to take care of the physicality. If I don't love how I was designed, then guess what? I'm going to abuse it. You know what abuse is? Abnormally use something. I'm going to abuse it. So loving God has everything with loving yourself. And so if you love yourself as you're loving God, then he says, we are assured and we know. Think about that. Think about it. You ever have somebody say something and they say the same word but in different tones, but you can tell how much they believe? So it's the same thing. If I say, man, yeah, I know. That's one way. First say, man, I know. What if somebody says, man, I know? I said the same words. But you can sense and you can tell which of those I really believe. Which one of those are going to produce the action, the mindset, and the way of life that produces the results you desire. It's the third one. It says, we are assured. I'm so sure. When's the last time you said that about your life? Man, I am so sure that I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. I am so sure that I'm with who I'm supposed to be with. I am so sure that I'm going where I need to do, and I'm walking this walk out to the best of my ability. And I know that things are going to work together. I know things are going to work out. I know that life is seasonal. I know there's a purpose to my pain. I know that I can overcome this stuff. I know that God is going to help me. I know that things are going to work out for my good. I know that this too will pass. I know. I just know it. I can't see it yet. I don't feel it yet, but I just know it. It says, we are assured and we know that God being a partner in our labor, that all things are working together and are fitting to the plan for good to and for those who love God and are called according to his purpose. And so listen, remember that as you're walking out your life, as you're continuously walking it out, what season are you in? The exercise I have people do, and I would like for you to do it as well, is I want you to break down your life in several different areas, okay? You got physical, you got mental, you got spiritual, you got financial, you got social, okay? Physical, mental, spiritual, financial, social, okay? And I want you to know, and then I want you to put relational, okay? Because social relation could be different things. Social could be friends and acquaintances and all that stuff, network. Relationship could be your relationships. And what I want you to do is, I want you, as you look at that, I want you to do one or two, I want you to do one thing. I want you to look at that, and I want you to write down, what season are you in each one of those? Where are you in each one of those? Are you in the wintertime where things dried up and it's time for you to go to imagination? Are you in the springtime where you need to start planning stuff out, creating a plan, writing it out, researching around it? Are you in the summertime where you feel like you're working it? You're working the plan. Remember, the hot part of summertime doesn't mean it's always bad. Guess what? I love the heat. I love Florida for the humidity. So I love it. So it's not that my work means that something's bad. No, my work means that, guess what? I'm working it out. And then, it just reminded me. Did I ever talk about fall, the harvest time? The next season after summer is fall. That's where you get the fruit of your labor. That's where everything you envisioned, everything you planned out, everything you worked out, now it's time for you to benefit from the fruit of your labor. It's like you looking in the mirror after, you've been eating some fruits and vegetables and drinking some water and working out. And you're like, hey, I see something I haven't saw anymore, before. Or all of a sudden you got people taking double take, or all of a sudden, you got an ideal and you turn into a plane, and all of a sudden people like it. All of a sudden you start getting a promotion. All of a sudden, whatever it is, harvest time. The fruit of your labor. People like the harvest. People like fall time because they're like, man, the weather break. There's no more mosquitoes. Okay, it's a nice cool breeze. You can get up. You can wear your sweaters. You can wear your cardigans, man. You can wear all this stuff that you like, and you're seeing the fruit of your labor now. And that's the harvest time. And so on these areas, physical, mental, spiritual, financial, social, and relational, I want you to write down, what season are you in right now? What season? Because it's from there that you will now be able to access your life. Here's one of the reasons why most people struggle with this or have struggled in these areas, because they never understand that I can be, that you can be, we can be in a different place in different parts of our life, which causes or means that we have to do different things at different parts of our life. Which means that somebody can be somebody can be in the financial part, okay, where they're in the harvest time. Okay, they're in the harvest time. But then they also don't understand that, guess what? After the harvest comes the winter. So in my harvest, am I preparing for the next season of my life? Okay? Or they can be in the springtime where they're just planning and writing this plan in their spiritual part. Talking about, based off of what Donovan said today, man, I'm going to do some of this stuff. And I'm going to write it down. And I'm going to really go through this exercise. And they can be doing that. And they can negate the fact that, in that, it still means that I still need to be nice to other people. I still need to be developing, relationships. I still need to be working out all the areas of my life. Ladies and gentlemen, we're not just one-dimensional individuals. We're multi-dimensional. That's what's so amazing. God says he's made us after his likeness and nature, after his image and his likeness. The image is not a picture. It's just the image. It's like the mirror. When you look at the mirror, you don't expect to see somebody else. God says he made us in his image. When he sees us, he desires to see himself. But not only desires to see himself, but he desires to see us responding and acting and developing and manifesting and experiencing life as God would experience life. Which means he said he made us after his image and his likeness. And he made us so that we can be like him. He made us with the natural abilities to produce what he put in us, to produce it out so we can experience it. Ladies and gentlemen, we're co-creators. We're co-creators. But nobody can make you do it. You got to be willing to put yourself out there. You got to be willing to do the work on yourself. And if you're willing to do the work on yourself, it always pays off. It always pays off. There's a purpose to your pain. Life is seasonal. All pain ain't bad. All pain is not bad. Bring on the pain if the pain allows me to grow. If the pain allows me to relook at my life. If the pain allows me to research, to search out, to let go, to build up, to develop, to cultivate, bring the pain on. Bring it on. I want it. I need it. If that's what it does. If that's what it's producing. And so it's the same thing for you. There's a purpose to your pain. It's not here to destroy you. It's here to build you. But only you can respond to it. Nobody is made on the mountaintop. But it's in the valley that we make a decision to go to the top of the mountain. Wherever you find yourself right now, it is what it is. It is what it is. As you look at your life, remember these 7 words. It is what it is. Now what? It is what it is. That recognizes your past, that recognizes your pain, that recognizes your struggle, that recognizes all that stuff. We're not dismissing. It is what it is. In this hand now. Now what? Now what am I going to do? Where am I going to go? What am I going to say? How am I going to do it? Now what? Is what it is now what? It's like east and the west. You can't have east and west on the same side. You're either focusing on what happened, it is what it is, and you're focusing on what it is, or you're focusing on now what? Based off what happened, based off where you're at, now what? Yesterday is history, tomorrow's a mystery. Today is a gift from God. That's why it's called the present. So unwrap your gift today of your present and get to work on yourself. Get to work on your life. Create your masterpiece. Develop it. Nobody can do it but you, but it's only for you. And so listen, I hope you guys encouraged. I hope this message was for you. I hope you got something out of it. Remember what did I say when I started? I'll never tell you what to think. I'll never tell you what to do. And I'll never tell you what to believe. But I will give you a perspective. I will share my experiences. I will share any insight or wisdom or whatever I think that can help us grow together and individually as well. And then it's up to you to respond to it. And so I want to hear your response. Type in the comment section. What stood out to you? That's the first step. Type in the comment section. What stood out to you about this message? Here's why I have you do that. Because after you hear a message, you're only going to retain about 7 to 10% of it. You're only going to retain 7 to 10%. I totally understand that. And so understanding that, the way you increase what you retain is when you go back now, you write it. So if you were someone taking notes while I was talking, or if you're taking notes while you're talking, you've increased your ability to remember by 5 to 10% more. You've increased it just because you wrote it down. You use the faculty of your mind, your brain to write it out. You've increased it. And so that's the number way you increased it. The other way you increase it even more so, by another 10%, is when you now write what you got out of it. So the first writing was just listening. Okay, boom, 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 I'm just writing down. Donovan's talking a lot, man. He keeps talking, he's jumping, he's hitting me, blah, blah, blah. Man, so much stuff, whatever. But now when you write and declare, what did I get out of this? Now you've increased your retentional level from about 10 to 15% because you're now acknowledging out of everything I said, what was the part that really resonated, that connected to your spirit, that connected to your mind, that connected to how you see yourself and where you're at now. And so that's why I asked you guys to do that, because it's a part of the exercise. Now it's like hands-on experience, because now you got to go ahead and solidify it. And then the way you increase it even beyond that is you take the steps. The exercise I told you to do, you start them. That's how we grow. That's how we go. That's how we get better. That's how we understand the purpose to our pain. And that's how we maximize the seasons of our life. So listen, man, I appreciate everybody. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Thank you everybody for sharing this. Before you finish, do me a favor, hit the share button so someone else can get it, can take advantage of hearing the perspective. Someone else can listen for themselves. See, I'm here to tell you things non-judgmentally and give you unbiased perspective. It's up to you to receive it as you do. And I know some people have filters on. They can only hear things a certain way. It's okay. The fact that you hear something, it's not for me. It's for you. And so do me a favor. Don't judge the message by not sharing. Allow someone else to receive what it is for them. If all they heard was, hey, I'm Donovan, if that's good enough for them, let them hear it. But do me a favor, share the message. Also, go ahead and type in your feedback when you get a chance, okay? Type in your feedback in terms of what stood out to you. What did you get out of this? Okay, out of this, was it 50 minutes conversation we had? I hope you liked it. Thank you, Scott, for sharing it. I really, really appreciate it as well, okay? So listen, man, you guys have an awesome and wonderful, wonderful day. I have a week full of camps coming up this week, tackling camps that I'm teaching youth kids on Monday and Tuesday in one area, Thursday and Friday, and another one. It doesn't stop. We keep going. But again, I wanted to pause today and share a message. Hopefully that was encouraging to you. So I look forward to reading your comments. I look forward to reading your feedback. I look forward to understanding how this message stood out to you. Feel free, if there's any comment, if there's any areas that you want me to share about as well or speak on, please feel free. Send me an email. Send me an email if you like, dd20@donovandarius.com, or contact@donovandarius.com is probably the simplest one. But again, just let me know. I'll create some videos around it, create some content around it, give you some strategies that we can walk through this thing together. Listen, everybody be blessed today. Really appreciate it, man. Y'all have an awesome, and wonderful day today. Peace out.